interesting, sexy stat of the day, you guys, is that you can indeed have orgasms after things like spinal cord injuries. So this is very, very cool that the nervous system is set up. And this is what's so fascinating about the body is there's a lot of different ways the nerves are going to our tissues, right? And so for women, we see that the vagus nerve, which is not part of the spinal cord, which sits outside of the spinal cord, does go to the cervix. And men, the vagus nerve goes to the penile tissue and can help with things like erection. And so because of this, because it's not sitting in the spinal cord, we can have a spinal cord injury and we can still have a very intact vagal nerve. So this is why people, men and women alike, can still enjoy pleasure and orgasm in many cases after spinal cord injuries. Now, there's way more to talk about than just the particular nerve, right? Spinal cord injuries can cause all sorts of different problems with inflammation and circulation and many other problems that could lead to potential problems. But from a nerve perspective, it's definitely possible for this to happen. Now, one of the things, if we're talking about women and we're talking about cervical orgasms, one of the things that's important to understand is the cervix is this tissue, right? Is this tissue that sits so deep inside the vagina. It's like this tissue that we get to access, but it's very hard to access. And because of that, it's extremely protected. Like not a whole lot winds up touching and contacting the cervix. So this tissue can be extremely sensitive. And many people, when they are beginning to waken up their cervix, can feel pain. It cannot feel awesome. And many people are very sensitive. This is why also like deep thrusting can be hurtful for some women as well. It can be that there's just a size difference between the man and the woman that's so substantial. And sometimes it also can be that the cervix is so incredibly sensitive. So a lot of people will talk about things like de-armoring the cervix, and which is where you are slowly using touch through things like wands that are inserted intravaginally, and you're slowly using touch against the cervix in a very, very smooth, easy way to allow more blood flow to go to the cervix, to allow the sensitivity to change so that people are not so hypersensitive to the stimulation there. So that's definitely something to explore. And even if you don't have a spinal cord injury, even if you are somebody that is just interested in cervical orgasms, remember the biggest thing is to go slow, to make sure you are extremely well lubricated. Like one of the things that will make a big difference with the ability to explore cervical pleasure is your level of warm-up. And for many women, this is 20 minutes and sometimes even up to 30 or 40 minutes of foreplay, of touch, of massage, of the clitoris, of the structures of the vulva, beginning to insert inside slowly, passionately, with lube, all of these different things. And that we need that warm-up, we need that blood flow to begin to soften the cervix so that when we do go and make contact with it, that it actually feels pleasurable and not pain. Also, this is an area that, because we have so many connections in this area with our pelvic floor muscles, also because of the intimacy of this area, many people hold this emotional and intensity. So for some people, when they start to do work of softening the cervix, they might feel teary. They might have emotions come up. And if that happens, that is part of the process sometimes. And it doesn't mean anything is wrong. It just means that you're storing emotions there. And there's perhaps things that still need to be processed. There's a few great books on the topic, but one is the body keeps score, something like that. And so there's books that really go into this idea of, hey, the body is remembering, the body holds these cellular memories of emotions. And in many cases of your experience emotions around the cervix, that's all that's happening. Again, we don't want to shame it. There's nothing wrong with it, but we just want to allow ourselves to feel those sorts of feelings. So yes, cervical orgasms can be possible. Yes, they are experienced very differently by a lot of people because we have different nerves involved. So different parts of the brain light up. So cervical orgasms for me are extremely different than other types of orgasm. It's almost like this depersonalization where there's no connection between me and the universe around me, right? It's where I've seen that feeling of into God and this God's like universal source energy I've seen to be just completely beautiful in these types of orgasms, because there is just this feeling of expansiveness of like something so greater than just me and my partner in those moments. So they are very lovely orgasms. And I don't believe that the cervix is the only way to achieve those orgasms. But for individuals, there's going to be commonalities of how to achieve things. And there is something different about the cervix. So because of that different neurological connection to the brain and that different nerve that is being stimulated when that area is touched in a pleasurable way. So again, if you're interested in exploring more with that, go slow, one step at a time, lots of lube, lots of positive self-talk, and it can be a very lovely, lovely thing to explore if you feel so inclined. So thanks so much for watching this. Remember, you can always join my Libido Club to get more information from me, to get tons more content, to ask your questions about this. We go deeper into a lot of techniques and a lot of the stuff that we can't always cover here on YouTube. So please do check that out as well. Information in the show notes. I hope you will subscribe. I'll see you again.